This is ROW. Welcome to Rant of Whatever. I'm your host, Kevin Yarrow. And on today's episode, we have a topic that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. And today's topic is, did dinosaurs actually survive the asteroid and evolve into what we now call the Reptilians? I know. I get it. That sounds like shit tons of fucking crazy. But I promise you, we will get into it after a word from our sponsor. Have you ever felt tired after not sleeping all night? How about empty inside after not eating all day? Good! Because I'm happy to introduce to you Dr. Yarrow's new unradioactive filler pills. These pills are now made with more uranium filler. Dr. Yarrow's new patent formula unradioactive filler pills were guaranteed fix what ails ya. What is an unradioactive filler pill? Nosy Nancy. That's top secret. But it'll help, or make your hair fall out. Dr. Yarrow's new unradioactive filler pills. They do things to your body and soul. Now, first, let's discuss what are reptilians. Well, reptilians are apparently a race of beings that currently control all modern factors of today's society. They control everything from our media to our money to our governments. They pretty much control everything about humanity from the shadows. And then the question might be asked, what are they doing? Well, I think I just answered that in the last question. They're controlling us from the shadows. They have implanted themselves into places of leadership and government to have absolute and total control over all of humanity. And now, what do they eat? Well, it's reported that these reptilians actually eat children's blood. Why do they eat children's blood? Well, that's because when humans get scared, we produce something called adrenochrome. And it is believed that these reptilians actually survive off of this adrenochrome. So the reason they eat children's blood is because children are far easier to scare than adults. I'm sure, though, that many adults are easy to scare if you show them your reptilian form. Now, the act of an animal eating blood for survival is called hematophagy. Hematophagy. Many animals eat this way. Now, I'm not saying that all of these animals evolved from dinosaurs. I'm just trying to prove that it is possible for some animals to sustain themselves off of blood. Now, if these creatures really did evolve from dinosaurs, which dinosaurs would they have evolved from? That's a good question. Now, I think I have an answer to this. And the simplest answer to this question is velociraptors. Now, it's because scientists theorize that velociraptors may have had their own civilizations back in the day and actually had created their own language. I mean, even in Jurassic Park and the Jurassic World movies, they have the velociraptors sort of talking to each other with their own noises. But 36 million years ago, I mean, who knows how they're really communicating? Maybe they really did have a language. And they go on even further to theorize that they were the smartest dinosaurs. They were the dinosaurs. You know how they say dinosaurs had brains the size of peas? Well, velociraptors had quite big brains, and they were quite handy. They used tools and all that. And it wouldn't even be like completely off the chain to imagine the velociraptors having a sort of like a Stone Age. You know? Or perhaps even being in the Bronze Age. I mean, there's absolutely zero evidence of this. Absolutely zero. Except the fact it's just a theory. But even if they did, were into the Stone Age and had tools, and even like bronze tools, even iron tools, There would be absolutely no evidence because the Earth's core folds in on itself about every 2 million years or so. So, like, no matter what's on the surface of the Earth, it's going to fold into itself. And just taking everything back into the Earth. So there would be no evidence because these dinosaurs existed far longer ago than that. Or is there any evidence? Floating around the Earth is something called the Black Knight satellite. Now, NASA says this is space junk. Except that it's giving off radio waves that can be picked up by humans. Now, they say that the Black Knight satellite is perhaps 13,000 years old. Or perhaps it's even older than that. Millions of years older. Put there by the dinosaurs who evolved into a space-bearing civilization. They never went far, however, sticking around to control modern society. Now, this is actually possibly the reason the Mayans left the Earth. Because it's the evidence that the Mayans had their own space programs is mind-boggling. Especially people having encounters with UFOs and saying that they're not aliens, that they're the Mayans. Perhaps that the dinosaurs controlling society was the reason the Mayans left Earth in the first place. But that's a story for another time. Now, that's the theory of if the dinosaurs actually survived the asteroid and evolved into what we now call the Reptilians. I want to thank you all for listening on the podcast and on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss any content from Rant of Whatever. And if you're listening to it on the podcast, then please follow the podcast wherever you're listening to it and share it. Please share the YouTube, share the podcast, get Rant of Whatever out there. That's the best way to get our voice, my voice out there into other people so they all know where to come to listen to me. That's how you can help the show, is share the shit out of it over all your social medias. You can email me at kevinyarrow@gmail.com, kevinyarrow@gmail.com. And until next time, row ass boat, motherfuckers.